Hey guys, I'm Sage Valentine, and I'm back here to review another episode of CBS's Big Brother Season 20, episode number 10. So here goes nothing. Pretty much, Scotty knows that Sam has one of the power apps, but the rumors circulating make it seem like Sam has more power than she actually does, thanks to Caitlyn, because you know Caitlyn had to spread the rumor around, and honestly, the information Caitlyn got was super wrong. Speaking of Caitlyn, that whole tantrum she had, it was even bigger than what you saw in this episode. And she was ranting and raving, doing the exact thing that she was worried about Bailey and Swaggy doing. And that was going off at Winston and Brett. It was loud. And at one point, she tried to pull Bailey into the conversation because before Caitlyn went upstairs to talk to Scotty, Bailey pulled her to the side and kind of talked to her and tried to give her a gist of what the conversation was going to be between Caitlyn and Scotty. Well, how Caitlyn manipulated and moved this around is some spirit God only knows. But anyway, she tried to pull Bailey into the conversation while she was still yelling, because honey, she was yelling. And Bailey was just like, I'm not a part of this. I'm not in this. Nope, nope, nope. And she sat in the room with Sam. And they just listened to this ranting and raving. All right. Scotty and Rockstar are sitting in the HOH room. And they're talking about Tyler. And they're literally putting two and two together. It's amazing how observant they both are. It's just insane. Brett says that Scotty is an idiot. He says that he can't win the game. And if they come down, whoever's left is kind of like what he said in his HOH competition. Whoever's left will go after Scotty. But here's the thing, they have to win a competition, and neither of them can do that. Brett and Winston are pretty much a power couple, so Scotty's like, we need these nominations to stay the same. This week is pretty much an up week for Bailey, because really no one's really talking too much about Bailey and seeing Bailey as much of a threat. They're kind of pushing her to the side, and at this point no one knows that Bailey has this power, so far so good for Bailey. Winston had this temper tantrum, and he was talking about how he was coming for Scotty, and at one point on the feeds he was like, I can't believe that we're nominated. We shouldn't be nominated. And our side is powerful and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Winston, what show have you been watching? Or did you really think you were going to make it into Big Brother and not be nominated? Derek, from season 16, I believe that was season 16, he was nominated. So what made Winston think that he was going to come in this house, join into a bromance, and neither of them would be nominated? Makes absolutely no sense. So Falte is pretty happy about these nominees. And Rockstar is just like, you know what? Face out Haley, you guys need to try to win the veto. And if you do, don't even use it. Meanwhile, Winston is sulking by himself in the Jenga room. You might as well call it the Jenga room. And he's calling for Brett, and Brett's walking up the stairs with Scotty. He just kept calling Brett, and Brett was already upstairs. Brett says to Scotty he pretty much won't pretend to like him because that's not the type of person that he is in this game. He says that Scotty made the wrong choice in nominating him, and he's pissed. Again, another person in that bromance who, for some strange reason, never thought that they both would be put on the block, and never thought that Scotty would make a move like he did. And there's a lot of people on social media who are absolutely like flabbergasted by Scotty's move, and they say that it's stupid because Scotty's gonna get voted out. Hey, at any time in Big Brother a person can be voted out. I say make a big move now and try to break up a bromance at this point. And really, when it comes down to it, I see Brett as the stronger player than Winston. Brett almost won that veto competition, and Brett has the gift for gab. See, Winston's so paranoid, and he's sulking and moping and pretty much doing everything, if memory serves, that he said he wouldn't do in his original interview. So, again, Winston's upset. Tyler says it sucks that level 6 is on the block, but as I said before, he says that he has to move on with his own game. So there were some people online talking about, well, Tyler's going to save Brett and Winston if he wins the veto. No, he's not, because he made sure that he threw that veto competition. He didn't even want to be picked for the veto competition. Tyler is all about Tyler in this game. I don't understand why a lot of people can't get that through their heads. Tyler is doing everything he can to make it to the end by any means necessary. Caitlin says to Winston, you need to separate from Brett and you need to campaign. Winston won't listen. This will be one of the only times I agree with Caitlin, but I agree with Caitlin. If Winston wants to stay in the house, he needs to campaign. Because clearly Brett is already campaigning. But I think Winston's still kind of stuck in this showmance, so Winston's so upset and thinking with his emotions more than trying to play the game and be level-headed. Say what you want about Swaggy C, but the one thing I respect about his game is that he fought to the end to try to campaign to stay in the house. No, he didn't stay in the house. Yes, he was evicted, but still, he never gave up. Winston's talking to Scotty, and Winston threatens Scotty. I talked about this in one of my previous reviews. But anyway, he threatens Scotty. Winston's literally acting like a baby. He's acting very, very babyish at this point. And he said that he's coming for Scotty if he survives this week. Kind of like the same thing Brett said, but again, they have to win a competition in order to come after somebody. Winston appears to be more bark than bite. Brett is more bite than bark. Get what I mean? So Winston says, you know what? He's talking to Brett. We need to paint a target on someone. And then Rachel pops up somehow in the conversation and she says, throw around Caitlin's name. She can be the replacement if one of you comes down if you win the veto. So we get to the veto player selection scene. Scotty chooses Tyler, who is annoyed because he said if he wins the veto, he's going to show his cards, and that's not what he wants to do, which is why he threw that veto competition. Winston chose Rockstar. Brett chose Rachel. Then we saw this segment with JC asking how much Winston weighed or something, or was it Faisal asking how much Winston weighed? Either way, my question for CBS and Big Brother is JC getting a weird, crazy segment each episode? I just want to know, because some of these things are weird, like the whole shaving of the back thing was a little bit much, but I just would like to know. But I think my answer is right in front of my face. Like, yeah, JC is going to have one weirdo segment in every single episode. So Bailey's hosting the veto competition that has a Mamma Mia 2, the movie, twist. And pretty much the veto winner will also win a trip for two to the Greek islands. The veto competition is named Mamma Mia Madness. So Scotty was killing it in that competition. Winston was just a hot mess. Now, on the feeds, if I remember correctly, someone was saying that Winston has been throwing these competitions. I don't believe it. I really think Winston is that bad at these competitions. So, Scotty won the veto, and now he can sit back and chill. So Brett and Winston are obviously bummed that they didn't win the veto. Brett says he's down but not out. Sam comes to calm him down, and she considers using her power app on him. Well, at least that's what the episode is saying. But I'm telling you, as somebody who's been watching the feeds, Sam isn't using that veto on Brett or on Winston. Nope. And Brett cannot believe that he lost the veto. Brett and Winston decide to have a bro meeting in the storage room, you know, where they have the food and the garbage cans and stuff. They decide that they're going to visit Steve. I keep thinking of Steve because there was a nerdy Steve on Big Brother. Scotty, in the middle of the night, and they're going to propose a final three. Well, neither of them fathomed the idea of Scotty walking into the storage room and saying hi to them, and Winston's trying to talk to him, and he cannot hide his disappointment. After a while, the three of them are kind of sitting there, and it's extremely awkward. And then when Scotty finally takes the cue and he leaves the storage room, I believe it was Brett who said, dude, we could have talked to Scotty right then and there, and we could have told him about the final three. And Winston's all quiet. Haley's whole segment reading Shakespeare is so cute. For that to be like the crap app, meaning the crap app punishment that's supposed to affect her game, honestly, it seems like it's really cool because she gets to read Shakespeare. And some people would think that's boring, but anything, I guess, to get your mind off of Big Brother, the game, and do something silly would be fine by me. I don't know about the leotard thing, though, because they seem kind of hot. But if I was in the house, I probably would wear a leotard. But anyway, because I would have no choice if I got the punishment. So we get to a conversation between Brett and Winston and Scotty. Brett brings up Caitlin's little backdoor plan of Swaggy as if he and Winston had nothing to do with it. And they suggest that Scotty should backdoor her if he decides to use the veto and take down Brett. You know what? Maybe the scenario also included Winston. But that scene seemed to take Winston out of the equation of that. So, anyways, Winston starts talking about a final three idea. Scotty tells them that their names came up from a lot of people in the house, and that's why they're nominated. They're also nominated because they're a threat to him, and he said that he would not win against them. And again, he wanted to balance out the house, which is why I cannot understand why Brett and Winston thought that they were not going to be nominated. Like, yeah, you're going to be nominated. Everybody's nominated in Big Brother. So the wheels are like turning in Scotty's head as he's listening to them talk, and he tells them he's going to think about it. But at that point, he already knew what he was going to do. Well, we get to the segment with Caitlin and her weird energy that tells her Winston and Brett are after her. It was Bailey. Bailey was the weird energy. Scotty reveals that yes, they are after her, and he tells her about the conversation with the bros, and then Caitlin goes off. And like I said, you're going to have to see that whole scene. It should still be floating around on social media, at least until CBS decides to pull it down. I kind of hope they don't let people see how Caitlin reacted in that so they can get some context, especially for those who don't have the feeds. You can see what's going on. That whole situation was very, very wild. Brett tried to gaslight her during that. And he said that throwing out her name as a replacement would get the least blood on Scotty's hands. And I'm sure he also means Winston's hands and his own hands, but still. Tyler was hiding in a corner near the refrigerator in the backyard door. And as Caitlin said something about somebody slinking around and talking behind people's backs, the camera panned straight to Tyler. So Tyler looked frightened. Now, Scotty chose not to use the veto. Winston's little veto speech before that was that he said, use the veto on me so I don't have to campaign against my friend. Brett's whole veto speech included throwing shade at Caitlin, talking about he had some feelings and auras and some craziness like that. And that whole speech was hilarious, and all it did was piss Caitlin off. And he said something about a lot of talking and sneaking around the house. So Winston said that he came to win $500,000, and that's what he's focused on. Brett said that somebody's going to stay and they're going to target Scotty. But they got to win a competition to really do some damage because neither of them have won one so far. Caitlyn says that Brett is garbage after his veto speech, and she's over him. Sam says that she was blessed with this bonus life, and she's considering using it possibly on either Winston or Brett. Well, the last time I checked when I watched the feeds, and that was yesterday, even though I've been paying attention to the chatter on Twitter, I've got this indication thing on the Big Brother, I forgot what it's called, account, and it kind of writes up basically every conversation. Anyway, Sam is saying that her name is Les and she's not in that mess. She's not using that power. So we'll see how everything happens on episode 11. And just a reminder, episode 11's review will be late because I will not be home tomorrow night. But I can't wait to check social media and find out who's going home. But it seems to me that Brett might be going home, but you never know. I'm probably going to have to watch the feeds until like 5 o'clock, 5:30 to see what's up, because things change so quickly in a matter of hours. But you all take care, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to my 10th review of CBS's Big Brother Season 20. I love you all. Take care. And like I said, episode 11's review will be up Friday. Love you guys. Bye, guys. Bye.